Welcome to another Wednesday remix where I share a episode where I was a guest on someone else's podcast. So today I'm sharing an episode actually from 2020. I was a guest with Dan Barker and his podcast, Leading Others to Christ. I got to tell you, it is a very encouraging podcast that Dan has put together. He has about 75 episodes on that podcast. Brother Dan has since passed, but that podcast still remains, and I would highly recommend that you check it out, Leading Others to Christ. It will greatly encourage you as you think about evangelism, reaching the lost, and all the great opportunities that we have as the people of God. I was fortunate to be the very first guest on his podcast, and I'm really thankful for that. And here is that episode. Take care. God bless. Here we go.
Lead me to some soul today. Oh, teach me, Lord.
Good morning. Welcome, everyone, to our series of episodes called Leading Others to Christ. And this is our first episode today. And my name is Dan Barker. I preach for the Creekside Church of Christ in Franklin, Indiana. And those of you that know me know that I have a passion for evangelism, a passion for leading others to Christ. And ever since I became a Christian, I've always tried to learn and listen to others that are doing this and to learn better how I can improve and how I can reach others, how I can teach others. So that's the theory behind this, is that we're going to try to reach out to people all over the country, but perhaps even the world, and find out how they're doing what they're doing, because there's a lot of people out there that are focused on evangelism, but unfortunately, there are many that are not. And so one of the goals with this series of episodes here is to try to stir people up, if you will. Our theme this year at Creekside is Hearts on Fire. And so I want to try to find those out there that their hearts are on fire and see what we can learn from them. So we're excited today. Our first interview, for episode number 1, is the fellow that you see there, Mr. Benjamin Lee, from Louisville. Is that right? Louisville, Texas.
That's correct.
Well, good. Well, welcome, Benjamin. And it's an honor for us that you're here. And why don't we just start out with this? Why don't you give us a little background of who you are, where you were born, where you're from, and kind of help everybody know more about Benjamin.
Sure. Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you, Dan, for having me. And this is a great privilege to be a part of this. And I think this is going to help out a lot of people. So I'm Benjamin Lee. I am 41 years old. I am currently preaching in Louisville, Texas at the West Main Church of Christ. Originally, I was born and raised in Central Illinois, in Urbana, Illinois. So I was raised there, and I went to the University of Illinois and majored in kinesiology. That seems like a long time ago. So I graduated in 2000. And then in 2001, I got into pharmaceutical sales. I did that for about 8 years, and I worked with Pfizer Pharmaceuticals. So that moved me to Rockford, Illinois. And it was there in Rockford, Illinois that I really started thinking about preaching full time. It would take me about 8 years to eventually make the decision, but there was a preacher there that had a lot of impact on me. We moved to Columbia, Missouri, I think 2005 or 2006, and had a promotion with Pfizer, and we were worshiping at the East Side Church of Christ there in Columbia, Missouri. The preacher left after the first year we were there. So they started looking for another man to fill in, and that's where I got some more opportunities. Me and another brother filled in, and the brethren there were really patient with me because I had no idea what I was doing. But it was there that I started thinking more about getting into preaching full time. So fast forward a couple of years, in 2008, I was pretty close to making the decision. 2009, there was a big a layoff within the company, and so I got severed. And I had actually talked to the shepherds there about my next step. I knew by then that I wanted to preach full time. And I also knew that I needed a lot of help because I really didn't know what I was doing. So I had a passion for it. We had set up some things on campus at the University of Missouri there with respect to evangelism and some other community studies, but I just needed some structure. So that's where they introduced me to Dallin Road Church of Christ in Beaumont, Texas. So I ended up getting hired there, and I went through the preacher training program there with Max Dawson and David Banning. So that was from 2009 to 2011. So that was a tremendous blessing, and we ended up staying there where I was working there full time until 2018. So while we were there, we had our son Joshua. He's 8 years old, and so we stayed there for about 8 years, 8.5 years, and then we moved here in March of 2018.
All right. Well, that's great. You did good there, bringing us up to speed. I learned some things there that I didn't know, but this is really good. One of the things that I want to really have to try to focus on with this series is on how to lead others to Christ, and it'd be a whole other discussion about edification for Christians and teaching, like classes for Christians, and obviously that's a necessary part of our work as well. But this is all geared toward how to reach others that don't know Christ, how to reach others that are, as the scriptures talk about, that are lost. Jesus said he came to seek and save the lost. Before he ascended back to heaven, he gave the charge or the Great Commission to go. We can talk about that a lot. Go and make disciples.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's I could ramble about this, but I think in some places, this isn't to criticize, but it's a lost art. And we've maybe lost what our mission is, and congregations are not growing. They're not reaching out to people in the community. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that they don't want to. Maybe some of it is they just don't know how. Mm-hmm. So teaching others to teach, that's such a critical part of. I remember what Paul told Timothy in 2 Timothy 2:2 to commit these things to faithful men who will be able to teach others also. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to try to focus on that. So to start out here, Benjamin, with what you've done or what you're currently doing, let's start with it. How are you reaching people in the community?
Okay. Well, yeah, I think that's something very important for all of us to be thinking about. And just a couple of things that we're doing here. One of the great blessings that we have here at the West Main Church is that we have a lot of visitors that come to our assembly on the first day of the week. And so one of the big things that we're trying to do, we're trying to capture them, if you want to describe it in that manner. So we have something called the 5-minute rule, where after services are over, it's great that brethren really want to talk to one another, and we'll hang out at the building. I'm sure it's the same where you attend for 30, 40 minutes sometimes. And but we really try to emphasize those first 5 minutes, look around, look for those visitors, and make sure that we're welcoming them. Hopefully we already did that when they walked in, but let's reach out to them and let's see if they're interested in a Bible study. So there's a brother I know, Wesley Pollard in Beaumont, Texas. He's one of the elders there at Dallin Road. And I've shared this with you, but I'll share it again. He talks about, visitors who are coming to our services. That's like fish jumping in the boat. They're already interested. They're already there. And so we need to, number one, reach out to them. A second thing that we're doing, we have simple invitation cards where we really try to impress upon the members to look to invite people to either a Bible study, maybe at your home, or on Wednesday nights or on Sundays, whatever the case may be. And something as simple as an invitation card really goes a long way. And so one of the things that I try to do, I'll try to get a certain amount out each month. And we have these also in the foyer. So we really try to push our members, encourage them to invite people. And so that really is just something that all of us can do in the community. And all of us are in different areas of the community. So, whether you're getting gas or going to Walmart or someone in the neighborhood, that's something really simple that we're all trying to do. And so that's something else that we're doing within the community as well. Recently, we have begun doing more meetup Bible studies. So one of our elders and his wife started a meetup in Louisville, which has actually worked out really well. So they meet on Tuesday nights at a Panera Bread, and they've already gone through the Gospel of Luke. Now they're going through the book of Acts. And so I've been able to sit in and be a part of that. And it's been really good just where you have people from the community coming out to that. So it's just another opportunity to plant seeds. We have a big university here, UNT, University of North Texas in Denton. And I've started a meetup study there as well. And so that's an opportunity. The coronavirus, everything that's taken place has kind of delayed that. But those are just some simple things that we all can do. I've also have had some opportunities from members. We have a sister who lives at like in a retirement type apartment. And she started, I think a number of years ago, a Bible study, just how to read the Bible. So when I got here, she shared that with me, and I was really excited just to see that. So once a month, I get to go in there, and I get to sit down with a bunch of the people that live there. And sometimes that could be between 6 or 9 people at a time. And what we started calling it was putting the preacher on the hot seat. So, I'd go in there and they could ask me any Bible question that they have. Now what we're doing, they're going through different books of the Bible. So I will go and kind of give a review or give a summary or talk about a particular text. And sometimes I take in some of my sermon outlines and just kind of walk them through some of those sermons. So that's where I've gotten my Bible studies. Through people in just coming to visit. That's where I've gotten a lot of my Bible studies here as well. And that's really been a pattern since I've been preaching full time for about 11 years, getting those Bible studies from other people. And the more we can do that, the more reach we'll actually have.
Oh, I agree with that. To me, that's part of the equipping of the members and help them to understand what a serious role that they have and what a great opportunity they have. Even if they don't feel comfortable at this point of doing a study, they could help introduce their friends to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you could go in with them perhaps and have an opportunity to do a study.
Yeah.
I'll put you on the spot here, not on the spot. Let's say I visited and I'm not a Christian and somebody invited me to come to West Main, and there I am, and you're face to face with me there. In that 5 minute or 5 minute rule, and you're going to obviously I'm interested in spiritual things, or I wouldn't be there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how would you ask me for a study?
Well, it's pretty simple. One of my mottos is it's not rocket science, and
Wait.
Nice little segue, huh?
I thought that was it. Yeah. So yeah. What is it? What is this?
Yeah, there you go. It's not rocket science. It's simple ways to reach the lost. And that's a workbook that I taught last year. And our theme last year was Arise and Build. And so for a quarter, we talked about evangelism. So that workbook is really like a how-to kind of workbook. And one of our elders, Stephen Estes, helped me out with a lot of that. A lot of that is his material in there, a big section of the how-to. But if a visitor comes or when they come, there's a couple of thoughts that a couple of things that I try to do and other people do too. Number one, I'm really impressed with our members because we've heard this from visitors and, just how welcome they have felt when they walk in. So when someone walks in that we don't know, first, we just want to greet them. We want to smile. We want to shake their hand. We want to introduce ourselves to them. Something as basic as that can really have a lasting impact. And really, you could say it goes all the way back or goes into the parking lot. So, if you see someone walking in, you don't know who they are, you pause and I'll go over there and say hello. So that's one simple thing that I've done. Another thing that I've done as well, I've sat with some of our visitors. Sometimes it's really intimidating going into a building where you don't know anybody. And Absolutely. So I've sat with them or I walked with them. It was funny. A couple of weeks ago, our services begin at 9 a.m. And I noticed this woman from the pulpit. She was on the right-hand side. And afterwards, after the service was over, she came up to me. And her name is Carrie. And she said, I used to work with you when you were with Pfizer. So I left Pfizer in 2009. And it took me a little while to kind of remember who she was. We weren't on the same team, but we were, I don't know, maybe in the same division. So, I found out, I believe she talked to another colleague of mine at that time, and she lives in Flower Mound, which is like 10 or 15 minutes from Louisville. So she found us at West Main and attended services. So we ended up talking, probably we have like a 10-minute break from that first worship to our Bible class. So we talked for about maybe 15 minutes. And I just kind of shared with her, some things that we do there. If she was interested in studying, her and her family were looking for a congregation. So, it just led into a conversation. So she stayed for Bible class. So she walked in with me. We sat down in the Bible class. And so that's something that I've done before, where I want to take that time, to really get to know that person. The other thing that I will do, I will ask, are you interested in studying? Are you interested in learning more? So I have a workbook called Getting to Know Jesus, where I just walk people through one of the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John. And there was a young woman, and I think she started visiting in January of 2019. So her boyfriend was a member of a church in the Dallas area, and she lives in Louisville. So she came to services. One of our deacons introduced himself, and then he introduced me to her. And so we talked for about 5 minutes, the three of us. And she said that she was interested in a Bible study. So I said, okay, great, let's study. So we ended up studying for about 6 months. And then she obeyed the gospel. And her mom came to the baptism. So I believe she was baptized like on a Saturday morning. So her mom came to the baptism. So I said, man, I got to say something to her mom. She's here,
Sure.
right? So I believe it was either that Saturday or that Sunday, her mom came to services. And so I followed up with her and I said, well, are you ready? Are you ready to study? And she said, yes. So we set up a Bible study with her. And probably 3-4 months later, she was baptized into Christ. So the day of this recording here, I have a study with them at 1:00 via Zoom. And so we've just kept on studying. So those are just some simple things that I will do when people come into the building. One, go after them. Don't scare them away by running after them, but go after them. Smile, say hello, give them your name, and ask them. I like to know this too. How do people hear about us? Where do they find us? So some of them have just they typed in Church of Christ, or they typed in a church, and we've done some marketing. So our West Main is popping up towards the top of the list a lot of times. But I've had people who have said that they have listened to some of our sermons online, and I think that's an important element as well when it comes to evangelism now. And that gave them an opportunity to kind of see who we are, and then they showed up. We just had this woman show up a couple of weeks ago. She's been away from the Lord a very long time. She's a Christian, and she needed to obviously get right and do some things differently. And when the elders sat down and talked to her, they found out that she had been listening to some of the sermons online, and that kind of had an influence upon her as well. So it's really just about treating people the way you want to be treated. Imagine if you're traveling and you're visiting a congregation, what do you want to experience? You want people who are going to be nice, people who are going to tell you where the restroom is, where the Bible class is, what's going to happen with worship services, people who are interested in studying. And so that's basically what we do.
Just some sad stories of people traveling and visiting congregations and go in and where nobody says anything to them.
Yeah.
Or somebody looks at them and maybe they're not dressed right, or they don't, just something, and sometimes people, they don't realize what they're doing. So the importance, we could have a whole series on how to meet and greet, right? When people come in.
One of the most basic things for all of us to do, and I really try to encourage churches to do this as well, is to have some kind of tool for the members, whether it's an invite card. We're putting together a little brochure that has some questions that we can hand to people so they can think about some things even after they leave. And that's another way to kind of follow up. We do really well with getting the visitor information, and then following up. That's something very critical to do as well. So those are just some simple things that we all can do.
the follow-up. I mean, there's so many things here, but follow-up is, I'm afraid a lot of places what happens, we get the visitor's card or the connection card filled out, and then nobody does anything with it. And so another skill set, that whole thing about being equipped that Paul talked about in Ephesians, we all need to be, and maybe this series of interviews like this can help us. I've got a question for you. If I wanted to reach out to Benjamin Lee, is that permissible? And how would I do that?
It absolutely is. So my email address is leebenjam. So that's LeeBenjam @gmail.com. You can actually find that workbook. It's not rocket science. And my other workbook, Getting to Know Jesus, BenjaminLee.blog. And I have a series of blogs dealing with faith, family, fitness, and food. And then I also have a podcast. So these are just some resources. The podcast is I Can Do with Benjamin Lee. And so that's more of a motivational type podcast. But feel free to give me an email. The church website is westmainchurchofchrist.org. And you can send me an email as well there. So there's a number of ways where people can reach out to me.
Great. So here's what we're going to try to do with these is to close every episode with one thing.
Okay.
All right. Just in this last little bit here, what would be one thing that you could, if I'm a preacher or I'm an elder, a deacon, a member, and I want to try to learn how to do this, I want to learn how to lead others to Christ, what would be one thing that you could suggest to me?
One thing that I would suggest, that's a great question. That's always hard with one thing. I would really suggest the kind of heart or disposition. And I would just really have everybody ask themselves, do you care? Do we care when it comes to those who are lost? And I think the answer most people will say is, yes, I care. But we need to really take it a step further. How much do we care? And so when we really get down to it, when we ask ourselves, how much do we care? That's going to help us with what Jesus talked about in John chapter 4. We need two types of people. We need sowers. We need reapers. There's great joy in this work. And I would just conclude with a story here of a woman named Karen. Her son came to Down Road a number of years ago. His mom, Karen, was dying of cancer. And he wanted one of us to reach out to her. So Karen allowed us to talk to her. Myself, some other brothers and sisters reached out to her. And one day she decided that she needed to obey the gospel. And it took probably about 45 minutes for her to get her upstairs, for the sisters to change her the clothes. They saw her tumors all over her body, for us to carefully baptize her, and then to do that all over again, to take her all the way back down the steps. And with the strength that she had, she came to services as much as she could. And then she passed away a few months later. But her son cared, and he cared so much that he was willing to talk to any and everybody. And that's the mindset that we have to have. That's the kind of heart that we have to have. And when we do have that care and concern and passion, that's going to help us overcome any fears or worries about what people are going to say when we invite them and talk to them. And so I just believe it really starts with the mindset of, we have been saved by the blood of Jesus Christ. Let's go out and save some other people too. So that's one big thing. And I think something else, I know we're about out of time, I would just say is talk to and invite 5 people every month. Make it a goal, make it a mission to invite 5 people, whether it's to services, the Bible classes, or a Bible study in your home. And the more you do that, they may not show up. That's okay. You're just getting over that fear, and you're getting out of that comfort zone. And the more you do that, eventually great things will happen.
Well, that's great. Really is. And I think those of you that are watching or listening to this, you can see why I invited Benjamin Lee to come on here. Just a very sharp young man, and he does have a heart on fire for reaching others, and several things there that we can learn from him. And like, he's willing to let you reach out to him, and I know he would love to talk to you. So this is our first episode, and there's others coming. And And maybe some of you know of individuals that we need to interview, to talk to. And we would love to have you reach out to us so that we can get to. I know I've asked Benjamin, who does he know, right?
Yeah, that's
and
right.
our focus here is always leading others to Christ. And so, again, thank you so much for coming, and we'll be talking to you soon. Thanks again, Brother Lee.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And few there are who pray. Melt my heart and fill my life. Give me one soul today.